All right. Joined right now by Director Dwane Chappelle from DEEL in the city of Seattle and also Dr. Chelsia Berry from Seattle Colleges. How are you?
Fantastic.
Great.
Thank you.
Somebody got to be good. Huh? All right. Well, I think our audience is used to knowing. I always say, Director Chappelle, when you got some good news for us, so you got a call to action to community that you make sure and let us know. I know there's some deadlines that are coming up, but for people who might not be aware of exactly what's going on well, it's a lot going on Deal, but it's specifically the Seattle Promise program. Maybe you can refresh our audience and let new viewers know what it's all about.
Yes. Again, thank you for having us on. I appreciate it, or should I say, we appreciate it. And we're also lucky to have Dr. Berry here with us, who that we've lured from DC. But to briefly just go through it, the Seattle Promise is accessible for all 17 high schools in Seattle Public Schools, where each senior has an opportunity to attend any of the three colleges here, North, South, or Central College, 2 years or up to 90 credits free of tuition. And so we have, as you mentioned earlier, we have an important deadline coming up. And February 1st is the deadline for all of our graduating seniors to get their applications in for Seattle Promise. And we want all of our Seattle Public Schools seniors to apply this week, so they are set up to start college in the fall of 2021. And I need them to not miss this deadline and don't miss out on the free college tuition and support system to succeed. And I'll pass it over to Dr. Berry.
Well, in that case, Dr. Berry. First of all, Dr. Berry, but before you take that handoff here from Director Chappelle, this is your first time here on Converge. Maybe you can tell our audience a little bit about yourself. He said he just snagged you from Chocolate City over there in D.C. and got you in the rainy city. But tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do at Seattle Colleges.
Thank you, Omari, and thank you, Director Chappelle, for that. Yes, I'm Dr. Chelsia Berry, and I am the Associate Dean for STEM and Business at Seattle Central College, where I have the joy of working with outstanding leadership in dismantling and disrupting systems that promote injustice, social inequities, racial inequalities. And so my ultimate goal is to support opportunities that advocate for expanding and diversifying the STEM gaps and the STEM pipeline, and not just addressing opportunity gaps, but addressing value gaps. And so it's very important that we're promoting opportunities such as Seattle Promise and opportunities such as the HBCU transfer agreements that Seattle colleges are part of. And so I'm so happy. Yes, Lord from Washington, D.C., where I was at Howard University, to do this work over in the Pacific Northwest. So thank you again for having me.
Yeah, no, it's all good. My pops used to live in D.C. for years, so I was out there every summer, hanging out in D.C. So I know the city well. What do students need to know about this deadline? And we kind of got to be specific. A lot of people who watch Converge, a lot of times it's extended families.
Mhm.
This is grandma, big mama, and them, aunts and uncles, things like that. And so we want to be as specific as possible with this deadline looming.
Absolutely. And so, as was mentioned by Director Chappelle, Seattle Promise provides 2 years or up to 90 credits of free. And yes, I said free college tuition at Seattle colleges. So this is regardless of students' GPA, their income, their ability, or country of origin. All high school seniors graduating from any of the 17 Seattle public high schools are eligible for Seattle Promise. And so the program also includes an equity scholarship. And these funds are for costs that extend beyond tuition and may include help with things like books, food, housing, and transportation for all students that need that support. But the most unique part of the program is the individual assistance and support students receive starting their senior year of high school throughout their college education and up to graduation. So this element sets Seattle Promise apart from any other college aid programs, and it helps to ensure their success. So I can't encourage you enough, families, Students, please apply for this outstanding opportunity.
Now, Director Chappelle, as somebody, we keep getting a lot of good news out of Deal. That's why you keep coming on. You're just getting bad news, man. We're gonna ban you. Bad enough you was hanging out at Rainier Beach, but maybe you can talk about like how these kind of programs, especially Seattle Promise, goes into this overall ecosystem in improving education in our city. Me personally, I think that when we talk about the income gap that Black people face in the city of Seattle, a big part of it these days, amongst other things, is that our young people weren't engaged at an early age. And the ones that do go to school and the ones that do go to college, there's not enough guidance along the way. And so, community tells them, oh, well, go get a social justice major or this and that, when maybe they should really be in the STEM because that's who's really paying. If we want our young people to be able to come back and afford a home in the Central District, then they have to choose career paths that are paying those higher wages to be able to afford to live in the city.
Mhm.
That being said, maybe you can reemphasize the importance of the Seattle Promise program and how it fits into your overall vision there at Deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you calling out that ecosystem because, one of the things that I've shared with you before when I came on the morning show was how we're looking to basically build a college going culture in our community and this ecosystem that we live in. And this college going culture for me is one where all our students know that we really believe and value their brilliance. And we're also into supporting them in their pursuit of their dreams. And as a city, to be completely transparent with you, we've made a collective commitment, as you see right now, to our young people to help them attain some type of post-secondary degree or credential, or even be, as you mentioned a moment ago, positioned for a high wage career. And here at Deal, what we're doing, we're working with our partners at Seattle Colleges, with Dr. Lang, Dr. Berry, you see right here, and Seattle Public Schools, just to ensure that every student can access Seattle Promise. And we know that in 2018, the Seattle voters made a commitment to the Families Education Preschool and Promise Levy, which not only funds the Seattle Promise, but it also makes a significant investment in our K-12 schools, literally all the way down to our preschools, to make sure that our Black and brown students are college and career ready, so that when their time comes, they can make a successful transition to college. And I'm proud to say, as a city, we're making this collective commitment to our students, really to show them that we believe in them, as I mentioned earlier, and that we're supporting their pathway to success in this ecosystem that we all are living in. But we need our graduating seniors to get those applications in so they can be part of it. And I know what this time of the year brings to each and every high school. So I just want to make sure that every school, from North End, South End to the CD, West Seattle, please take advantage and get these applications in. And I know that college is right around the corner.
Right. And Dr. Berry, maybe you can tell us where, so somebody sees this information, they want to get their information in. What exactly do they need to do? Do they need to go somewhere, go online, to a website, call somebody?
Absolutely. It is very easy. It's simple. And here are the steps. The first thing you do, apply at seattlecolleges.edu/promise. That's seattlecolleges.edu/promises. Don't forget the S on Seattle Colleges. So it's seattlecolleges.edu/promise. And here's the important part. Again, by Monday, February 1st, students must submit 2 applications to meet the deadline. The first application is the Seattle Promise Scholarship application. The second is the Seattle Colleges admissions application. And you can apply to all 3, North Seattle, Central, and South Seattle, or you can apply to one, whichever you like, but you have to submit those 2. It's again the Seattle Promise Scholarship and the Seattle Colleges Seattle Colleges admissions application. And so apply now. Give yourself more options to consider as you narrow your college choices. And if you have any questions or need assistance, there are specialists assigned to each high school who can help you out. So you can go to the website, you can chat with them online, you can email or even call. Again, that website is seattlecolleges.edu/promise.
All right, all right. Before we get out of here, I think I had another reason to have some antagonism with Director Chappelle. Man, didn't you say you went to Grambling State?
I did, where everybody is somebody.
Oh man, and I remember. So I went to Elizabeth City State down in
Hmm.
North Carolina,
Yeah.
and yeah, man, we played Grambling, and Coach Rob and them Tigers put it on us, man. they said they sent us packing back to North Carolina with an L. But speaking of historically black colleges and universities, man, tell us about this prep program you got, this transfer program. You mentioned it a little bit on the morning show, and both me and my partner in crime, Trey Holiday, she went to Howard, her
Yeah.
ears poked up. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so I'll give you a brief synopsis of it. I'm gonna kick it to Dr. Berry maybe to share some. But so I personally want to make sure that our young Black scholars know about the opportunities available to them as a promised student. Whether it doesn't matter which one of the schools, whether you're at Central, North, or South, but there's an HBCU transfer program where students can transfer directly from Seattle colleges to an HBCU. As Omari just said, I'm a proud Grambling State graduate, where I had the privilege of benefiting from learning from faculty who look like me. It was nothing like being around individuals who came up from the same type of background that I have, and just seeing a bunch of folks about positive things, all entrepreneur, had a big vision on themselves, vision within themselves. And as you're listening to this show, I want you to understand, for our young scholars, is that we just listened to Omari talk about Elizabeth City. I believe Elizabeth City are the Vikings, HBCU, one of many.
Okay.
Okay, I was gonna say, all right, yeah, one of many in North Carolina.
Mhm.
Dr. Berry is an HBCU grad, but I only share that those to say that at HBCUs there's an opportunity for you to explore the college life, a campus environment, learn from professors who look like you. And I'm gonna wrap it up after this one, and then be a part of a tradition such as homecoming. So I'll pause there, and Dr. Berry, you can share more as well.
Mm.
Absolutely, absolutely, and shout out to my HBCU brethren for representing. As was mentioned earlier, I'm a proud graduate of Howard University in Washington D.C., which is also the alma mater of Vice President of the United States, Madam Kamala Harris. And so I also did my undergraduate studies at Dillard University, which is also an HBCU in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I took several classes at Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi. So I am, needless to say, truly passionate, as we all are, about furthering opportunities for students, especially our students of color, as they come through the HBCU partnerships at Seattle colleges. And just as a reminder, HBCU stands for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. And so Seattle's Black and African American students can start their education at Seattle colleges. They can then earn their associate's degrees and then smoothly transfer to HBCUs to continue their education. And so our agreements with these excellent HBCUs make gaining a premier post-secondary education in a welcoming, student-centered, and diverse environment not only possible, but much simpler than they would imagine. So these transfer agreements are currently in place at Wilberforce University in Ohio, at Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and there are several more in the works. So Seattle Colleges is in strong communications with establishing additional transfer agreements with Dillard University in New Orleans, Louisiana, Houston-Tillotson University in Austin, Texas, Alabama State University in Montgomery, Alabama, and Grambling State University in Grambling, Louisiana. So these agreements mean that students are guaranteed admissions. They can easily transfer their academic credits from Seattle colleges, and they have priority ranking for scholarships and housing. And I'm going to talk about quickly what each of these actually means. Regarding the guaranteed admissions, After completing an applications, students will be automatically admitted with their associate's transfer degree and a minimum of a 2.0 GPA. Regarding easy transferring, after earning a 2-year associate's degree from Seattle colleges, a student's credits will easily transfer. And this means that they won't miss a step on their path to earning a 4-year bachelor's degree. And regarding priority scholarships and housing, with a 3.2 GPA, students will have priority ranking for scholarships and they'll also have priority ranking for housing. So, all interested and current Seattle Colleges students should please reach out to your college transfer office to plan your next steps. And any interested new students should first apply to one of the Seattle colleges, Central, North, and South. And I'm partial to Seattle Central because that's where I'm employed, and additionally apply for the Seattle Promise opportunity. And again, there are 2 applications that you have to complete by February 1st, and that's the Seattle Promise scholarship application and the Seattle Colleges admissions application.
Yeah,
Omar,
uh,
no,
uh,
go
I
ahead.
was going to say that um, that experience that I had at Elizabeth City State and the CIAA conference, so many HBCUs, North Carolina and in Virginia, and all the way up to Bowie State in Maryland. I mean, it was transformational experience. People don't realize, but I actually went to school. I got a degree in geology. Elizabeth City State is the only HBCU that has a degree in geology. So I got a degree in geology and minor in environmental science, and I used to volunteer over at the campus radio station, WRVS 89.9 ECSU, and which was crazy because I was just on air. Like the chancellor had me on air because he was talking about the environmental lab where I was working, and I was like, yeah, I put the water here, I do this and that. And the program manager, the station manager, came in and was like, who is that? And and she heard me talking, and she was like, "Yo, you got to be in radio." I was like, "Nah, I'm a geologist." She was like, "No, you got a career in radio." And right there, I mean, I bring that story up because that's a lot of times how it is on these HBCU campuses. The population's a bit smaller, people are more engaged and interactive and things like that, and these chance encounters really change the trajectory of my career. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
super excited about this program and super excited to tell as many of your current students that are there at Seattle colleges, but also students whose parents might have a little bit of inhibition, be like, well, 18, I don't know about sending them down there. I want them to go down there to Baton Rouge, to Southern, but been out here in Seattle his whole life. Don't know, you know what I'm saying? It seems like the program gives a little bit of opportunity for student maturity and then transfer over there into one of these historically Black colleges or universities.
And I'm glad that you just said that, because what I wanted to share with you, and I'm gonna share, is that um, what I definitely want to encourage families to take a chance to get your first degree tuition free. Don't take on any unnecessary college debt to start your post secondary studies and pursue your dreams, because um, what our vision is, we want to make sure that there's a menu of options for our young scholars out there to choose from, and HBCU is an option for you. It doesn't have to be the specific one that I went to, or Omari or Dr. Berry went to, but just listening to the story that Omari just shared, what we want all scholars to have an opportunity to bring out whatever their brilliance is going to be, and that brilliance is converged media. You see how he was a geologist and environmental studies major, but his vision took him past that into starting this platform that's serving our community. So that's all. We want to make sure that our young scholars have an opportunity, and start with the Seattle Promise until you can figure out what it is you want to do.
Fantastic. Well, Director Chappelle, yeah, as usual, I appreciate you. I can't wait till I can bump into you on the streets in the Central District by Garfield. And of course, Dr. Berry, want to welcome you to the Converge platform, and you feel free to drop in anytime. And I definitely have to hook you up with my partner Trey Holiday, because she's always telling me that she went to the real HU as well. See now, now you know. HBCU.
HU.
But I appreciate you guys taking the time and letting everybody know, and we're gonna get the word out on this pronto. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.